How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy TraderPrad in the house. We are back again, brand new week, but it's the final week of February, and it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna see how we get to close off the month. So far positive, so far green. But exciting week coming up ahead, because we do have probably the biggest earnings report on the market coming out. Is my mic working? Okay. Possibly the biggest earnings report coming out this week, which is Nvidia. So big earnings report, looking to see how the market is going to react off of that. You had some stocks that reported today, already stocks moving off of those reports. Market itself, I did not go to work today, so I did not get to trade. But the market gave you a good opportunity to buy the dip if you were looking for it. Actually got sold off drastically, big time, and then on that flush, which I'll talk about a little bit more, basically you can look at it as a capitulation flush on the market. The market dropped one full ATR in like 20 minutes and set up for one of the cleanest bounces that you could have had on the market today, even set up for a good double bottom. But because I didn't trade today, I don't we probably won't take up too much time on the stream talking about my trade, so we're just going to be able to dive right into my watch list for tomorrow, prepare for some of the names that I already have prepared. Before we do that, I do see somebody special is back in the stream over here. Look at that, her eyes show up all weird because of the green screened ness of the capture, which is funny. Makes her look like she's got devilish eyes with that bunny. Is that bunny or cat? I don't know. I think it's a bunny hoodie, right? With their little bunny hoodie. But welcome back, on you. Long time no see. Hopefully you're doing good. My birthday is at the end of the month. The chill reminding me I'm getting older. Well, you are old. I'm pretty sure you're older than me from what I remember. So auntie, you just gotta put an AUNTY, put a T between the Y and the N, and it's exactly what you are, auntie. It's a teddy bear. We're gonna go with what I originally said. It's a rabbit. It's a wabbit, and I'm going wabbit hunting. Nah, I'm joking. Good to see you, Ani. It's been a long time. Hopefully you're doing well. So stocks that we're gonna take a look at. I'm just gonna bring in my watch list over here, show you guys all the names on the watch list, names that are reporting today after hours, names that are reporting tomorrow pre-market. Actually, do I have names that are reporting pre-market? I do. Names that are reporting pre-market, stocks that are moving around today, such as Palantir, SMCI, cryptocurrency names, Nvidia, Tesla, Baba, Kava, ANF, Carvana, quantum names, and then even the AI energy names such as CEG, OKLO, and the overall market itself. So lots of names on the watch list for us to go through. But as I said, thankfully, did I just close my... I did. Okay, thankfully it's easily closable. But as I said, I don't have my trades because I didn't trade today. So we're just going to be able to dive right into our stocks. Before we dive into our stocks, I just want to quickly give a shout out to the affiliate sponsors for this segment, which is Benzinga. We're going to use Benzinga to go through a bunch of stocks that reported earnings today. And if you're interested to check out this awesome tool that you see me using every day to read earnings, not only do I use it to read earnings, I also listen to their squawk in the morning as I'm trading. Get 10% off using my link right there. Go ahead, click it now. So let's go to HIMS, check out how HIMS reported its earnings report. From what I remember, the stock actually dropped hard. Obviously, I know that because I made the thumbnail. Stock was down about 13% at the time of that. At the time I was making the thumbnail. HIMS reported fourth quarter results coming in at 11 cents per share, which met estimates. Quarterly revenue coming at 481, which beat estimates of 470, and an increase of same period from last year, which is 246, which is good. HIMS subscriber grew to 2.2 million, up 45%. Gross margin was 77%, compared to 83%. Okay. 2024 was a fantastic year at HIMS as we continue to build a platform that leverages personalization and technology unlike any traditional healthcare system. Over 2 million subscribers now and trust HIMS and Hers to aid them in the journey to better health, with thousands more joining daily. For the first quarter 2025, HIMS and Hers expects revenue of 525 to 540 million, adjusted EBITDA 55 to 65 million. Reflecting adjusted EBITDA margin of 11 to 12% for the full 2025. 2.3 to 2.4 billion, 270 to 320 million. I don't see any comparative measures such as estimates. Overall, looks like they're still growing, right? They're still growing on revenue on the year-to-year aspect, but the reason why the stock took a beating is because the gross profit margins are going lower. So compared to same period last year, they were at 83%. Currently now they're at 77%. So overall margins are thinning out as the stock is potentially having to cut their prices, trying to combat and battle all the other competitive drugs in the same industry. Although HIMS has a lot other drugs other than the weight loss, the GLP-1 drug. I'm pretty sure they have an erectile dysfunction one, they have a hair loss one, they have a sleep medical, some sort of nootropics. They have a bunch of options that they sell. I'm pretty sure most of them don't even do anything. But if I ever want to get a sponsorship from them, maybe I shouldn't say things like that, right? But no, at the end of the day, I can't say if their products work or not. I don't use them at all. But I know that they are very popular, and you can see how their current subscriber growth is growing drastically. Overall, the stock was a little extended on the daily chart. You can see how that day was a big overextension. And then just 2 days before earnings report today after hours, so just 2 days, which is on the Friday, news comes out that the other weight loss drugs companies such as Govi, I think, and Ozempic, they're actually not the shortage for them is not as short as people previously thought. So the supply is back and the demand is being able to get matched. So HIMS is not going to be able to take advantage of that lower supply by especially being able to acquire that new GLP-1 facility that they did. So there's just like a loss in their investment in a technical way. At least that's how the market sees it, and the market dumping it on that news. And then today with the earnings report, them seeing that the margins are not growing is being reflected in a negative way, to the point where the stock gets dumped a little bit more. So downside for HIMS, boy oh boy, imagine you got the short at the $72 area and you're watching it back down to $40 within a couple of days for your shorts to play out, and potentially even go a little bit lower. Keep in mind though, it is growing year to year, so that is going to be one thing that's going to keep me away from the shorts, but by trying to press into the shorts, I mean, which is heavily looking for the shorts. But overall, the 250 EMA and the 200 EMAs are still down at the $20 area, which I think the stock could eventually push down to. I think one of my good friends, Victor H Investing, he tweeted out that according to his math, according to his numbers from his computation, he sees HIMS is still overvalued by 45%, so another 45% retracement on HIMS according to book value and so on. He's a more financial guy. I just play technicals day to day, right? I'm playing the volume, I'm playing the supply, the demand, and the technicals day to day. So if I'm able to see some short side on the breakdown and continuation, by continuation I mean on every single pop below 40 tomorrow, if the stock has weakness, I'm gonna look for pops to join short. But if the stock breaks 40 but reclaims 40 tomorrow, then it's kind of not even looking for a short at that point. You might want to be careful, and I think 40 is exactly where the stock is holding above right now. Let's kind of just zoom out a little bit. 40.71 is exactly where the stock is holding above. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more move to the downside in pre-market, and then we get to decide if we're taking the breakdown of 38 or if we're waiting for pops into 40, pops into 41 to look for the shorts on the upside. So overall, looking to see if short is the idea, but that's going to be below 40, and if longs is the idea, is going to be above 40. HIMS sounds like a HIV medication. I'm sure they have something like that. I'm not sure, maybe not, bro, but I'm thinking it started because, you know, it started with the erectile dysfunction pill that they had, and then eventually they realized that just focusing on one thing might not be a good thing. We might need to diversify. So I think from there it became HIMS and hers. I might be bullshitting, you don't quote me, but I think from there it went to HIMS and hers, and they started diversifying because they probably realized that it's much easier to sell women a bunch of fake bullshit products like sleep medicine, or you know, just take a look at their pictures on Google. If you type in Google, oh, what the heck is that? Type in Google HIMS and hers, and go to images, and just look at some of these products. You're telling me half of these products are for men? They all say HIMS though, and some of them say hers. So these products are for HIMS. If I see any male with half of these products, I don't know. This is my thumbnail here. But like, okay, selling these products to females is much easier than males. I promise you this. Biotin, what is that? Never even heard of it. Sleep pills? Come on, dude. Sleep gummy pills? Immunity gummy pills? Come on, dude. Okay, let's see. Let's go worldwide. In the past 30 days. Come on. God damn it. There you go. Does it show by gender? Aww. I thought it would show by gender. It does not. I guess it makes sense. How would it show by gender? Right? How would it show by gender? But I'm betting you that they figured out it is much easier to make money by selling all of these products here than figuring out how to sell products to men, because I don't see any men taking half of these products that I'm seeing out here. I haven't heard of any of my friend groups, any of my trading circles, anyone say that they're taking HIMS products to sleep tight. Sleep tight gummies. Hair growth treatment. I might need this eventually. Pick Fix shampoo. That's for your hair, or is that for something else? Huh? That's for something else. HIMS.com and forhers.com. So they have two websites. HIMS for the men's, and for hers is for the females. HIMS and hers. What a stupid concept. If you ask me, why not just have everything under one website? Instead of having to pay for two different websites, having your coders code for two different websites and all that. I don't know. I don't care. Not my problem. All I care about is how can I make money on this trade. And the $40 under over is going to be pretty important for me. So I'm just going to put 40 on my inflection level here. $40 as the inflection area. We'll see how the stock opens up in the pre-market. Does it go a little bit lower? I currently have $38 as the last month's low, so that's going to be on watch. And if the stock does manage to get above $40 in the pre-market and stay strong above 40 bucks in the overall trading day, then there is no more shorts at all on the stock. So under over 40 is what I'm going to be watching right now. We'll see how the stock sets up in the pre-market for me to enjoy with throughout the day. Riot did take a little bit of a hit with cryptocurrency, which seems to be going down, mainly Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Let's take a look at this. I see a lot of people tweeting about potential downside on Bitcoin. Let's remove all of those drawings. I see people talking a lot about potential downside on Bitcoin coming in very soon, and if so, you know, let's see how that plays out. Currently, I'm just looking for the most lowest bottoms in this area, and I think that's the bottom and that's the bottom. So this little range, pocket of range, I guess you could say 91 to 89k. If that 89k area actually breaks, I would say even if 90k breaks and it starts to look weak below 90k, there could be some real downside on Bitcoin. At the moment, you know, you do have Michael Saylor holding the wall and being hodor and just holding up the cryptocurrency sector, the Bitcoin sector. But with the most recent crypto shenanigans that has taken place with Argentina, with Libra coin, I just can't see how that gives people faith, confidence. And on top of that, you have the North Korea stealing $1.5 billion from Bybit. So how does that give anyone confidence and faith in cryptocurrencies, especially in a way where a government will soon start using cryptocurrencies instead of the legal tender that they already use, which is all the conspiracy and all the theories that the cryptocurrency people, the Bitcoin holders, all the cryptocurrency lovers, this is what they all you know, stride and pride themselves about. But at the end of the day, if this is the type of bullshit that we're having to see, where an Argentina president is rug pulling people with the cryptocurrency, It's just crazy. So I'm not, and then it's that easy for North Korea. North Korea has been, I think this is like their 4th or 5th hack, and they've just been non-stop hacking. These are like goddamn pros. They've been hacking big companies so far non-stop, and this is just their latest hit, which is 1.5 billion dollars. Before that, 625 million, 100 million, 100 million, 41 million from stake.com, which is a crypto gambling website, 60 million, 230 million, and 1.5 billion dollar hack. So I don't see how any of this is good news for cryptocurrency. I do see Bitcoin going much lower, at least taking out this 89k 90k barrier as a support that we're building. And if that happens, some of these stocks that I have on my watch list, I'm pretty sure I have Riot put on my watch list twice. I do, because of the crypto segment, and I have it because of its earnings segment. So we're gonna see some downside coming in. Keep an eye on it. Riot already making a little bit of a move today. On top of that, with earnings report, it had a little bit of a back and forth / nothing burger move. So watch how cryptocurrencies play out, cryptocurrency being Bitcoin. On top of that, let's see if the stock actually had growth or not. Reported 376 versus 372. Riot reported quarterly sales of 376, which beat analyst estimates of 372. Okay, you just said the same thing twice. I love it. Total revenue 376 compared to 280 of same period last year. So a little bit of a growth, not bad. Average cost to mine Bitcoin, excluding depreciation, was $32,000 in 2024 compared to $3,831. Okay, increase was primarily driven by 53% decrease in power credits received by. Okay, Bitcoin mining revenue was 321 million compared to 189 million for the same period last year. Engineering revenue 38.5 compared to 64.3. Held 17,722 Bitcoin so far, equating to approximately 1.65 billion dollars based on the market price for one Bitcoin. Okay, for one Bitcoin. So overall, they have 1.65 billion dollars of Bitcoin on their holdings, but that will soon eventually go to the downside. And they're also equating this based off of $93,000 per Bitcoin price. Riot had a remarkable year, blah, 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 blah. These results are particularly noteworthy in context of Bitcoin's network halving in April of 2024. How often does halving happen? Is it like every 4 years or something, if I remember correctly? It's like a leap year type of thing, right? And the increase in global hash rate of 67% over the course of the year. Overall, I'm not seeing some, things that are really standing out to me. Some big surprises, not really. You might, I was expecting more, if anything. So I think this nothing burger reaction in the after hours is actually justified at that point. I'm not really seeing anything that just stands out to me off the earnings report. And if the stock actually breaks down tomorrow, might be because cryptocurrencies overall are breaking down tomorrow. So I'll keep an eye out on this. Today's low, which was also December 2024, 13th December 2024 low. So right around, what is today's low again? That's around 984. So let's just say you're playing under over $10. If the stock is not able to stay above 10, that's going to be my inflection level. There's just no more longs if the stock is above 10. But if it's below 10, especially on every single pop, if it's finding selling below 10, it's a no-brainer short at that point. So Riot, I'm going to be watching this $10 area. However, even if cryptocurrency, aka Bitcoin, is holding, then potentially Riot might make a bounce, but I don't see Riot getting above $11. So I'm just going to put $11 as a resistance area on RIOT for now. Next stock in the earnings basket, TEM, also a name that was extremely overbought thanks to Pelosi. Auntie Pelosi putting in a monster move on the stock, and actually you can see Let me quickly go back into that thing right there. Pelosi VWAP. You can see how the day where Pelosi news came out, the stock is actually currently pulling back exactly to that anchored VWAP and kind of bouncing off of that. But let's zoom in a little bit more. Potentially could move this line up here. Let's zoom in a little bit more and see how the stock actually reported off the earnings report. What is this? Is this another anchored VWAP? Where does that come from? From IPO? Oh, I think I traded this on IPO. I don't even remember trading this. That's pretty crazy. Okay, we got the IPO VWAP over here going on at the moment. We'll just leave that into. Stock is currently at IPO VWAP on that overall pullback and playing around the IPO VWAP, playing around the last month's high, playing around also previous earnings anchored VWAP. So multi-support zone, technical multi-support zone coming into this area, $58 to $60. So already we got a nice zone to keep an eye on. Let's go take a look at the report now to see if the stock could give us a potential breakdown below the support or some support around the zone to look for a long. Fourth quarter revenue 200 million versus 203, so missing slightly. AI focused precision medicine and patient care company reported adjusted loss of 18 cents compared to estimates of 20 cents, so that's a beat. Revenue was up 35.8% year over year. Data and service revenue grew 44%. Genomics grew by 30% over year to year. Everything looks good so far. So why do we drop? Tempest AI said it ended the quarter with 940 million in total remaining contract value and 140. Okay, guidance expects full year approximately 1.24 billion. Represents 79 annual growth. Analysts are looking for full year revenue of 1 billion. And they say 1.02, right? So that's a beat. Company said it expects full year 2025 to be adjusted EBITDA of 5 million and a loss of 104.7 million in the full year 2024. Conference call, maybe that's why the stock took a little bit of a beating, or maybe people just took profits because it was up monster, and thanks to Pelosi it was up monster. Maybe Pelosi just said, that's it, I'm taking profits. And if Pelosi dumped her position on this, that could be a whole different reason as to why the stock is now looking weaker. But yeah, looks like a little bit of a downside move in the after hours, down 7.36 from growth overall. And unless Pelosi really sells off, I'm not really seeing a big reason why this one should be overly weak. Let's quickly turn that off. Turn that off. Where is the 200-day moving average? Has it even been 200 days? It's been 172 days. No, it's been 258.5 days. Where's 180 days? I just want to quickly see where the 180-day marker is. Right there. Okay. So no 200-day moving average yet. Only been 250 days so far. But there is the 250 moving average, but I don't see it on the daily chart for some reason. I guess it doesn't show up yet. Overall, Tempest AI clearly getting below its intraday lows off the earnings report and pushing into previous support areas, the $60 area, $58 area. For now, I'm just gonna keep an eye on the 60, look for 60 under over, and see if the stock gives me some levels to play off of tomorrow pre-market. So another stock to keep an eye on. Pretty sure this one will have decent volume. You can see how the volume died off a little bit, picked back up, the stock topped off, and then it started to die off a little bit on the volume, but the volume still relatively much greater than what it was previously. So with the earnings name, I'm expecting volume to come back in tomorrow and for us to be able to look for some fun on this name. Let's keep an eye out for it. CLF, Cleveland Cliffs, $10 name. I'm pretty sure I remember you trading at like $100. Am I tripping? Yes, I remember trading you. But maybe not. That's 2008. I wasn't trading in 2008. But what the hell? Did they have a stock split? I guess I'm forgetting things. A little bit of a drop on CLF here. Little bit of a drop. But is that drop enough to excite me? It's below last month's high. Which is what, here? Does that excite me? Probably not. Yeah, we're gonna move away from Cleveland Cliffs. Let's go to Zoom. ZM. Zoom. One of the most hated companies by me. I have a lot of hated companies. If you guys have known me from my previous employment, you know that I hate a lot of companies, but one of the most companies I hate is Zoom. Zoom, absolute dog shit software. People were streaming to me recently on Zoom, and the video quality on Zoom is just absolutely atrocious. Why do people use this software? Maybe it was the person who was streaming to me, they didn't know how to do it, but I don't care. Zoom is just absolutely dog shit. I hate Zoom, garbage. And thankfully, it is going down in the after hours after its report. So let's take a look at their report and see if they can give me more confluence, more of a reason to look for a short in this dog shit company. Why did I say wire? For some reason, I think I read wire somewhere. For this dog shit company. Zoom reported Q4 1.18 billion compared to, what are the estimates? In line with the estimates, okay. Adjusted earnings 1.41 beating 1.3. Zoom is now met or exceeded how many? 10 consecutive quarters. Well, good for you. Revenue up 3% year over year. Enterprise revenue up 5.9%. While online revenue fell 0.4%. Zoom noted online monthly average churn was down 20 basis points to 2.8%. The net cash, okay, up 20%, up 2.5 on the free cash. Zoom ended, okay, AI companion, whatever, dude. Zoom expects first quarter revenue to be in the range of 1.162 to 1.167. Company sees first quarter adjusted earnings to 1.29 to 1.31. I'm not seeing much growth. 3% growth is not good. Like, I'm sorry, but 3% growth for a growth company is not good enough for me. Now, you do make $1 per share per quarter. That's pretty much around $4 per year. So it's not like you don't make money. You're not a broke company. You do make profits, but 3% growth year over year is not exciting enough for me to look, long. That's if you're looking in the Kolomagi's methodologies, that's not an episodic pivot, right? It's not a big surprise, a very small surprise. Their PE is also not really cheap. It's not 10s and the 15s. It's also not expensive. It's not in the 50s or the 100s, right? It's a modest 27 at the moment, potentially going a little bit lower tomorrow. 3% growth, potentially also not getting any investors excited. So I will not be surprised if the stock does manage to start getting back into the 250-day moving average, which is around $70 at the moment. So if it does get below 76 tomorrow, I am very interested to look for a short, because I do think that the stock could easily make a move down into $70, at which point I have a $5 room to look short and see if I can capitalize by maybe risking 50 cents, by maybe risking $1 for a move down into 70. But if that doesn't happen, then I can potentially do the same thing on the opposite side, maybe risk $1, maybe risk 50 cents, depending on the setup that's provided, for a chance to get long from 70 into 80. So expecting a good $4 to $5 range tomorrow on Zoom. It could also be a nothing burger and not do anything, because the normal ATR on the stock is actually $2.50. So I'm doubling the ATR in case. Usually what happens on earnings, the stock has double the relative volume and double the ATR, which is not an outrageous thing to expect from a stock that just reported earnings. But that also happens when it's a big surprise to the upside or to the downside. This is neither. So you could also be a nothing burger and the stock could just die out over here, at which point you could still look for like a $2 long off of 76 if 76 holds, but don't be surprised if that momentum dies out. Don't be surprised, right? I'm expecting a $5 ATR tomorrow. I won't be surprised if I only see a 250. CHGG, another one that reported earnings. This is a dollar name now and breaking a little bit lower, going into $1. I think it's fairly simple, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very simple. Under over $1, and if the stock gets below $1, there's just simply no more longs. If it's staying below $1, there's simply no more longs. But if it is managing to stay above $1 tomorrow, you might be able to get one of the cleanest, the easiest longs tomorrow to play with, where you're risking maybe at best 5 pennies. It might be very liquid. You might be risking 5 pennies at best, and the stock will potentially give you a 5 to 10 cents risk reward. If you're risking 5 cents, at the very least you want a 10-cent reward, right? So 2:1. The stock's ATR is actually 13 cents. So if you do get the 2 ATR move tomorrow, or even if it gives you a 50-cent pop tomorrow, imagine risking going long around $1 and risking under $1, so that's like maybe 5 cents under $1, but you end up getting a pop back into 130, 140, 150. Like, that's an insane risk to reward long that you might not want to miss out on, regardless of what the earnings report is. Clearly the stock sucks. Clearly the stock is going to go bankrupt. But as of looking at the chart, you are at all-time lows going into $1. It's a very simple under over $1, where the stock has never traded before below. 130 is the all-time low, and that's basically being broken today in the after hours, going down into $1.07. I love to see trades like this. Either it breaks $1 or it holds above $1. You get one of the most asymmetric risk to reward trades possible on the day. TCOM, Trip.com, TripAdvisor, no, Trip.com, TCOM, reporting earnings, but a nothing burger move, absolutely dead. Those are some of the most boring names, or sometimes they end up being a hidden surprise trade because nobody else really wants to keep an eye on it. The idea is, if it doesn't have volume pre-market or after hours, if it doesn't have volume after hours after it reports, the chances are it doesn't do anything for the rest of the day next day. But sometimes it takes a little bit for information to disseminate and for people to absorb and decide what they want to do, and then tomorrow volume actually might pick up. So quickly taking a look at the only information we have on it. Expected was 52 cents, they came out with 60 cents. Expected was 1.69, they came out with 1.75 billion. So beat on EPS, beat on revenue on both sides. We could take a deeper dive into the actual report over here if I was interested in doing that, but I wasn't. But here, I'll take a quick little look at it. Recovered 120% of the pre-COVID levels Air ticket hotel booking up 70% year over year. Inbound travel surged by 100% year over year. The fact that the stock didn't drop to the downside off of this report might just be a good thing in itself. It didn't crash and crumble off the report. It just held its levels. Now keep in mind it's a little illiquid for a $60 name. It only has a 60 million, or sorry, it only has a 6 million average volume, so it is very illiquid, not a little illiquid, but it could be one of those hidden gems tomorrow that we could take advantage of. And it's still around its all-time high territories. Earnings report not banger from what I saw, but you know, they did recover from pre-COVID. But you know what, hey, almost every other company recovered from pre-COVID. If you did not recover from pre-COVID yet, it would be like, okay, what's going on right now, right? So explaining things like that doesn't actually get me as a trader, I'm not an investor, but as an investor doesn't get me too excited. But as a day trader, only thing that matters to me is price action and the fact that the stock didn't want to move at all. Let's see if it does do something tomorrow pre-market. Don't want to waste any more time on it. But now we're going to stocks that report tomorrow pre-market, starting with HD Home Depot. Home Depot has been making a little bit of a move down. You can see here on the daily chart. Who cares? You can see here on the daily chart, HD is at the 200-day moving average. So this is actually a pivotal area on this earnings report. Imagine the stock actually plummets and gets below the 200-day moving average. That opens up a lot of room over here for us to play with. So that's going to be the ideal setup for me to look shorts, especially if the stock gets below and stays below whatever that level is. So let's just zoom out. 370. So HD 370 will be the inflection area. If we can, I guess not 370. Yeah, I guess 250 is 370. You got the 200 at the 378, 380 area. So HD will be pretty important tomorrow pre-market, obviously, especially if it reports well. You can see how this is a little overextended to the downside. It's around the 200-day moving average. If they report well, this stock could bounce easily back to the north side and give you a monster long to play with. So keep this one on the watch. Very important for us to play with this name off the earnings catalyst. So putting on my notes, stock near, let me bring back the watch list, stock near 200 DMA. If ER is good, could set up for a fairly easy long. If ER is weak, stock should sell off under 380 area and be weak for us to look. Okay, so inflection, I'm just gonna put in right now 380 to keep an eye on, which is 200 DMA. Boom. All right, PLNT, Planet Fitness. Where are you? What? No way, Planet Fitness is at $100. I haven't traded Planet Fitness in a long time. 200-day moving average around 84 and 250 around 80. That's the 100-day moving average. That's around 95, which kind of we're bouncing off of. Last earnings report, stock actually had somewhat of a pivotal slash EP, you could say, episodic pivot. You can see how it got above this breakout on the day before earnings. It kind of got ready for the breakout. On the day of earnings, it gapped up and it ripped up to the north side. And you know, this is very similar to APP. You can see how this chart pattern is very similar to APP. The only thing difference is this little breakdown over here, whereas APP was still very strong and staying long above its earnings VWAP for the first run up. Now, however, APP is also joining the market and the rest of the stocks to the downside. Let's zoom into Planet Fitness to see how the earnings happened. Oh yeah, the stock is tomorrow pre-market. This reports earnings tomorrow pre-market. pre-market. So for sure keeping an eye on this one, potentially moving back into the all-time high and setting for some sort of a short tomorrow. I'm not expecting the stock to get above this all-time high tomorrow. If it does, it might go here and struggle to get above here, so you might get a short, or it might go here, struggle to get above it the first time, you get a quick little short, then it bounces off of VWAP, and then it actually breaks this area either on day one or it breaks this area on day two. So a couple ideas, couple scenarios can already be mapped out in my head quickly thinking about it. So obviously on watch tomorrow, PLNT, but how it reacts to the earnings will be a lot more important. So for now, I'm gonna put it on a purple. Sorry, I'm gonna put it on the orange importance, and then we'll see where it goes from there. DNUT donut Krispy Kreme. Oh no, $8. I remember you were IPOing at a way better price, and now you're $8, double bottoming on the daily chart here. Nice, that's a pretty good double bottom if you ask me. Around $8.50, $8. Is that $8.50? $8.34, $8.40, $8.30. You got a double bottom on Krispy Kreme. 2 million shares on an $8 stock, not as liquid as you want it to be. ATR is also only 34 cents, so maybe we want to move on from it and not really care about it. Domino's Pizza, yes, it moved lower, but keep in mind it's a $400 stock, and on earnings day it brought in 1.7 million shares. Most of the time it only trades 500 million shares. Not a name I'm too excited to trade because of the lack of liquidity, and you can see how it's basically around all of these moving averages, around all of these buying areas. I'm just not that interested to look for a day trade on Domino's Pizza. I also think it will easily have an inside day tomorrow. And look at the way it bounced. It bounced completely from the pre-market lows back into yesterday's or last week's high slash yesterday's low, and fought the sellers. Every single seller who fought this got wiped out today, and it was sayonara for them. So Domino's Pizza, you could just have an inside day where the stock goes into today's VWAP and bounces, or it goes into today's low and bounces, or it goes into today's low and potentially breaks out and then goes back into a little bit of a higher move. I also didn't read the report, so I don't want to speculate too much on this name, and nor do I care about how it trades tomorrow because of the lack of liquidity on that name. So just put it on my watch list to show you guys how it moved today. But in terms of importance, I'm not really that keen to look for a trade on that name. Palantir keeps on crumbling, keeps going to the downside, still looks weak. Looks like Palantir is headed back into the $85 area, at which point you can potentially look for a long from, a gap close long from. So high important name. Palantir has been on a little bit of a descent for some time now. I'm pretty sure this one is a 21 moving average. That is the 50 moving average. So 50-day moving average is right around 85. That's also the previous all-time high from where the stock gapped up from. So multiple reasons why if 85 comes into play, I could expect Palantir to find some buying. So keep an eye out for that level. And as for resistance, you can keep an eye out for the last few days lows. 95 to 96, which was also today's high was actually 99/100. So within that zone, you can see how resistance potentially comes in. I won't be surprised if actually today's VWAP ends up being a resistance on this name. Any pops into today's VWAP, the stock is just not able to get above, I think is the ideal game plan on Palantir tomorrow. So let's just turn on VWAP over here, and you can see how, what the hell is this? Today's VWAP somehow matches with whatever that purple VWAP is. What's the purple yearly VWAP? Okay. Today's VWAP right around $93. You can also see right around $93.50. $93 is where the stock really struggled to get above today. So on any pops into this resistance pocket of 94 to where the VWAP is 93, I'm not expecting the stock to get above it. So I'm just gonna put 93 to 94 on my resistance area and 85 for my support area on Palantir. Can you guys see it? Yeah, there you go, on Palantir. Next one, SMCI. This one's a little bit trickier in the sense that, you know, yes, AI sector is weaker and all other stuff, but this one actually has a potential news play coming in tomorrow. So if if SMCI doesn't report their 10K filing, which is their yearly filing that they were supposed to file last year, that might just break everything and the stock goes right back into the $30-20 area. But if they do report that, I don't see why the stock doesn't hold this $50 area and actually make a charge back into 55-60 zone. So not Palantir, SMCI for sure a big on the watch tomorrow, but volume dying down at the moment. Still doing 80 million shares today. The average is now 100 million shares apparently. Still doing 80 million shares, but you can see how the volume is dying down slightly as the stock is getting ready to find some support above this $50 area. I'll put in 50 as a level to keep a watch out for myself at the moment. But tomorrow, pre-market, tomorrow whenever the news drops, that's going to be a little bit more important. Coinbase finally breaking to the downside. I didn't even notice it broke down the way it did on Friday. That's actually interesting. But today it broke down with the rest of the market and gave you a good long. A lot of stocks actually gave you this good long on the market if you were looking for a nice capitulation bottom almost showing up on the market. If you actually take a look at it over here, let me quickly show you guys this. Right there, from that marker to that marker is about $7. QQQ's ATR is 7.75. Average daily range is 1.36. That was a 1.34% move within 20 minutes. So within 20 minutes, you're getting the overall NASDAQ market drop an average daily range percentage in the minute of 10 bars in a minute of 20 minutes, not a lack of, sorry, in a range of 20 minutes. And you're seeing volume actually start to go higher and higher, but the range of the bars get lower and lower. Right over here, they're actually bigger. It lowers up and then it gets bigger, and then it lowers down, and then buyer starts coming in. The buying bar is bigger than the selling bars. The buying bar actually wipes out 2 of the selling bars. SMB Capital calls this the rubber band scalp, but you should do this on the 1 minute chart instead. For example, here, this one actually takes out 1, 2, 3, 4 red bars or 4 down bars on 1 green bar. So you basically go long here, you risk here, and then you can see how the rest of the day the market basically kept going higher. You would have been long 521, you get out 525ish or so, and you're risking 520. For risking $1, you got about 40 cents per share on the market by listening to the SMB Capital way. You have the double bottom. First you identify the first bottom, you wait for the double bottom, and then you wait for the previous candle high to break, or you wait for the rubber band scalp entry, and those kinds of methodologies to get you some sort of a long entry, trigger, stop, targets, and everything planned out for you. So QQQ, rest of the market, the couple stocks such as Coinbase, MSTR all gave you some longs, but right now these stocks are looking like they're in doomsday territory, back into their 200-day moving average. But as I said, for Home Depot, the same thing applies for Coinbase. If Coinbase is having weakness around this 200-day moving average, which is 235, I'm going to put that as an inflection area. If Coinbase is having a struggle around this 235, the 200-day moving average zone, then that clearly means that sellers are now flipping their biases and they are looking to sell the weakness over here on BTC and across the board, everything that relates to BTC. So MSTR, which is actually breaking some supports now, that's also getting ready to give you some moves to the downside. It's not all the way back to its 200-day moving average like Coinbase is, so this could actually have a little bit of juice to the downside, especially if it rejects on every pop, such as the anchored VWAP for today. I shouldn't say anchored VWAP. Today's earnings VWAP, today's VWAP, session VWAP is at 289. I'm just gonna say 290. So if MSTR pops into 290 and stays weak below 290 tomorrow, I'm looking for yesterday VWAP. Okay. Looking for MicroStrategy to pop in that area and set up for some good fun shorts. IBIT, this is just your This is just your Bitcoin ETF. So if Bitcoin is selling off, most likely this one, well, not most likely, this one has to sell off with it, so you can join the weakness below 51 on IBIT, especially if cryptocurrency is weak below 89, if it's weak below 90, and so on. So IBIT is also on watch with the whole cryptocurrency basket, with right now market being very weak, right? Market looking fairly weak. It had a fairly scary drop off the open, which I just showed you, taking a lot of stocks with it. So one of them that I'm interested about is Tesla. Very high important, playing the under over on the Tesla over here at 325. So you owe 325 on Tesla, under over 325, waiting to see if the market's going to be weak and taking Tesla with it, or if the market's going to find some equilibrium before Nvidia's earnings report on Wednesday after hours, and then it figures out what it wants to do. Speaking of Nvidia, the devil, which is actually up on the earnings report next, pushing back into previous support areas, pushing back into some anchored VWAPs that I have placed. I'm not sure why those anchored VWAPs are there. We're also right around the 200-day moving averages. We're also right around the corner of the earnings VWAP. So usually, not earnings, we're right around the corner of earnings, not earnings VWAP. So I'm not usually interested to make any big decisions for day trading on these names, as I think if you are a hedge fund, would you be making a big decision if you were a hedge fund to buy Nvidia or to sell Nvidia before they report earnings? If you didn't already have earnings, would you be deploying billions of dollars buying Nvidia or selling Nvidia before their report comes out? I don't think so. And if you already had billions of dollars deployed, would you be making a decision before they report? I don't think so. So I'm not sure we're gonna see a lot of movement until Wednesday after hours. It might just be the same market beta moving Nvidia, so I'm not too interested to look for a big picture play until the report comes out. Let's go to BABA. Some of the Chinese names looking for some pullbacks over here. BABA has made an insane run up. They are also now looking to spend a lot of money into AI development. I think it was like $50 billion or so. You already know Meta is spending like $60 billion. Apple, their newest product launch was a joke. People thought it would be robotic. People thought it would be AI. It ended up being a cheaper version of phones because they wanted to grab the market share that they already are losing, right? A lot of people switching from Apple into Android, they're losing a market share, and people are moving away from the Apple ecosystem. And they want to be trapped. They want you to keep you trapped in their ecosystem. So they are now giving you a cheaper phone. So that's the newest product. What a absolute swing and a miss, if you ask me, by Apple over there. Just continues to disappoint me, man. Just continues to disappoint me. I once used to be a very happy owner of Apple shares. I no longer own any shares of anything, but what I'm trying to say is, if I owned Apple shares, I would not be happy at the moment, right? However, their stock price is actually doing what you might want it to do, so you might be a little happy because they're not plummeting like the rest of the market. They're actually holding off at the moment, only down 4.5% from the all-time high for Apple. Only down 4.5% on all-time high. So BABA. Oh, I actually want to go take a look at APP too. I put APP on my watch list of APP. put it in the orange color. ATR is 33.89. Watching for DOJ/SEC probe news after the short report. Usually a trend. So watching this report to come out so the stock can set up for a good short, especially below $400. If it can get up for a nice short back through 400, which is right here, and back through 396, I'll keep an eye out for that. 400 to 396.50 is a level that I want to keep an eye on. A $4 level on app that I want to keep an eye on. Nvidia, I don't want to do anything with Nvidia. I already mentioned that. Baba giving you a little bit of a pullback. I think, you know, I'm expecting some buying to show up in this area, but a deeper pullback would also be, you know, I would love a deeper pullback. Let's see how big of a pullback we get at the moment on Baba. Just keep that one on the watch. Kava, Carvana, these are names that are, you know, reporting earnings soon, tomorrow after hours. Okay, so not expecting big moves on this one, but the stock has made a lot of move to the downside at the moment. Kava moving to the downside. CVNA, big plummet to the downside on CVNA after reporting its earnings report, and I mean, what is that? Down 27% at the moment. So nice move to the downside. Let's see if supports can come in or some longs can get exhausted on pops for us to join the short trend. That's a name to keep an eye on. ANF, Abercrombie and Finch, actually breaking a long time support at the moment, which is a big support break if you ask me. So this could move a little bit lower, so keep an eye out for ANF. Do I have Kava? No, I don't. QBTS and the quantum names are making a little bit of a flush back down after making a pop on Friday. So quantum ion Q, RGTI, ARQQ, QBTS. RGTI is actually giving a nice breakdown right around the $10 area if you ask me, so potentially keep an eye out for that one. Rivian recently reported earnings and it's getting ready for a nice breakdown potentially around $12. If Rivian can find weakness below 12, potentially a trade there, but it's Rivian. It's Rivian. Am I really gonna care about trading Rivian? I'm not that interested to trade Rivian. There's going to be way better trades tomorrow. WBA getting ready to potentially pop back up a little bit, but it's got some headwinds to go through. This reminds me a lot like Intel, but Intel has made some good recovery at the moment. Watch for WBA to move back into some of these resistance areas and blast off. At the moment, you could, let me just... what is that level right there? 1130. At the moment, you can basically look at the last week's high, which was around $11. If the stock gets above 11, I think it's going to start making a little bit of a rally back up north. So if you're interested to watch WBA, that's a quick little TA for you. NKE, I know you were talking something about Nike. What were you talking about, Nike? Kim K should have signed with Ozempic, not already dying Nike. I have no clue what you're talking about. So Kim Kardashian signed with Nike. What happened there? Where's the news? Now I lost my chart. That's great. Now I lost my damn chart. Awesome. There we go. So ANF, a little bit of a pullback. Earnings coming up very soon. Nike, not sure what the news is. Not too interested either. I'm not even sure why it's on my watch list. Why did Nike end up on my watch list? That looks like a very boring range. Why is it on the watch list? Up after Jeffries upgraded the stock. Yeah, I don't care. This like barely a relative volume spike, like a little bit of a breakout, I guess. If it does bring buying above 81, maybe there's a trade, but I just don't expect much on this name. I really don't expect much on this name unless it gets above 81. So I'm gonna put 81 on my resistance, under over 81, and Nike is the only stock that's going to get the disrespect by getting a blue color, which is the least priority. Actually, that's not true. The stocks with no color at all are the least priority for me, but Nike gets the blue color, which is you know, usually the least priority for me. All right, CEG makes a little bit of a down move because any energy name in the AI basket apparently taking a hit. So energy names such as OKLO, NNE, oof, OKLO making a big move back down. OKLO flat out 32. You want to keep an eye out for that 32 area. NNE, how are you looking? And you're already breaking down below most of the supports that I would think you would hold off or need me to hold off to, and you're not doing that. So moving down on NNE. OKLO is the one that does more volume. It's the more in play name in the energy basket for nuclear energy anyways, so I'm just most likely going to be watching that. CEG, however, a big name, $200 name with some RVol coming back in as it's plummeting, so potentially worth keeping an eye on this one. Also, last but not least on our watch list is the overall market, and as I've mentioned, I called this out for you guys, right? Look for the market to be weak, and it is very weak at the moment, failing of all-time highs, and you're watching a big turnaround on most of these large cap names that were kind of carrying the market. For example, Meta had a 20-day green streak, and now you're having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day red streak, back-to-back days. So changing characteristics basically. So Meta potentially going back into the $600 area very soon. Market plummeting with the rest of the market over there, the rest of the stocks a little bit. So we're going down. Potential dip buying opportunities for people who have cash, but I'm also hearing a lot of negative bearish sentiment across the board on Twitter, on news channels, on podcasts. So a lot of negative sentiment across the board, and if that plays out that way, usually it's the opposite. When everyone's bearish, the market launches, and when everyone's bullish, the market the other way, the market drops, right? So it's usually the other way around. So we'll see what happens. I quickly want to go check when the next FOMC date is. It's in 22 days. So next FOMC date in 22 days, and the current expectation is a 95% probability that we are going to be holding at the current interest rates, and a 5% probability that we're going to get a 25 beeps cut interest rate, which is not much. 5% is nothing at all. IPO calendar, anything just going into the end of February here. I don't see anything on the IPO calendar, so I guess that is good for us, because no IPOs for us to keep on checking. No IPOs at all. This is going to be the earnings calendar for the last week of February. So soak it in, take a quick little look. Let me turn off the webcam here so you can see the bottom left corner. This is going to be some of the names that we're going to be taking a look at for the rest of the week. So if you're interested in any of these names over here, such as Nvidia, Snowflake, C3 AI, Salesforce, Lowe's, which actually took a little bit of a beating recently, Dell, VST, lots of names for us to take a look at. Lucid Motors reporting tomorrow. Okay, so lots of names over here for us to take a look at on the earnings board still. The big one obviously being Nvidia and Snowflake. Tune in to the stream Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And we're gonna take a look at all the earnings names. Quickly gonna give a shout out to my affiliate sponsors, such as TraderSync. Actually, I found a pretty cool feature on TraderSync. You can replay a certain stock to see the tape, to see exactly how the stock reacted on the buying, on the selling, and you can study tape. Pretty cool a feature that TraderSync has. So if you're interested, go check out TraderSync, get 15% off using Prad15 as your code. Trade Ideas, get 15% off using Prad15 as your code on that. And if you click on the link for either of these ones, for Flash Research or Benzinga, you get 10% off, and you can find all these links in the description or in my profile depending on where you're watching. I hope you had fun. Hopefully you found some good trading levels tomorrow. I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high priority names, and then I got a bunch of other mid priority names within there for me to play with. So I'm very excited for tomorrow. I wish you guys the best. You called me an oracle? No, I did not. I don't remember doing that. Kim Kardashian is a new spokeswoman for Nike. Gotcha. That's the news. Gotcha. Free advice guy. I see you on YT. I see you on X. I see you on Twitch. Thank you, sir. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate that very much. But as I said, it is time to head out. Time for me to call it a night. Actually get some sleep early today so I can get into work tomorrow and actually be able to prepare for the day. I quickly want to show you guys why I stayed up all night yesterday, because I was working on my awesome notes. Let me show you guys my awesome note-taking dashboard on Notion. If you guys don't know what Notion is, I'm not sponsored by them at all, not sponsored by Notion at all. But if you are interested in this awesome tool that I use to take notes in, go check them out. I have integrated a bunch of customizations. I have my news at my fingertips. This is on my dashboard where I take notes. I get nice little quotes to read my day. I get to start my day by evaluating my mood on the day, how much sleep, how much energy I got, and then I get to size based on that. Tasks on the day, such as, you know, doing my daily chart write-ups, which I'm going to do right now, doing my trade journals, which I'm going to do right now. Speaking of my chart write-ups, I have 577 different charts, 577 different charts in my write-ups that I can use to study at my disposal at any time. And that's the work and the hard work that I've been putting in the last few months over here. I wish I did this much earlier in my trading journey, and it would have, you know, obviously displayed the difference now. But that's where you know how people say you are where you are because of what you did a year or 2 or 5 years ago, whatever the saying is. So I'll be excited to see what happens over here. Tomorrow, 25th, is that stock delisted? I don't think it's delisted, but it's going to have a notice, and I think it will no longer have any more extensions from what I remember. Anyways, nice little notebook over here. You can see at my fingertips I have access to some of the S&B Capital setups that they have posted on their website. If I really quickly want to read exactly how to trade the second chance scalp, or exactly how to trade the backside scalp, I quickly open up my notebook, boom boom boom, I read my notebook, and I know exactly how to trade that if I ever have a doubt. And I have all my market overview right at my fingertips too. If I just zoom down over here, I have my heat maps for each stock, for each market. Boy oh boy, you guys need to take a look into Notion. I put in a lot of work into this last night, and it is time for me to now get offline and put in work on cataloging the trades that I did not take today, but I probably would have if I was at work. So time to go do that part of the homework. I wish you guys the best tomorrow. Come back 8 o'clock and we'll have some fun with the other basket of names that we just talked about on the earnings board. TraderPrad out. Peace. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so
let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.